Guys, we are celebrating 5,000 subscribers tonight. Very cool
Holy
stuff.
crap.
But first, we have to get into a Kyler trade that Scott made last night. So it was a 12-team Superflex PPR, 0.25 point per carry. So every carry for a running back, no quarterback in this case, every carry for a running back, you get 0.25 points per every carry. 8-point rushing touchdown, start 10. Scott gave Kyler, Derek Carr, Cooper Kupp, and a 24-second. And he got Dak Prescott, Mac Jones, and Hollywood. What say you, Shane? What's your initial reaction there? What do you think about this trade?
Well, I like that the other owner snowed Scott by giving him Mac Jones. Like that means absolutely anything at all. Like it's a quadruple flex or something. But yeah, I'm good with this. Look, we talked about Kyler last night. If you haven't watched that video yet, go watch that video and hit the thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. We talked about this. This is a move I would make. You're obviously going for it this year with Dak and Hollywood, which is much better than the Kyler, Carr, and Kupp stack that you could run out there, which would get you 13 points and 2 empty positions. So I'm fine with this. And look, Dak's a low-end QB1, right? Kyler's probably not going to be a low-end QB1 for another year or so. So I'm good with it. Good job, Scott. I'm proud of you, buddy.
So talk to us about this trade, Scott.
Well, there's always context, right? So This was a league where my quarterbacks to start the year were Russell Wilson, Trey Lance, and Deshaun Watson. So this is not how I planned it to go. I had also 923 firsts. So I had the league kind of by the balls with the future picks. I slowly have traded a couple of them away. I believe I still have 6 of them now, but I made a deal, essentially traded the 103 and Ramondre Stevenson in a point per carry. So the running backs do score quite a bit of number of points. Ramondre Stevenson and the 103 and a couple other picks for Kyler Murray. And I did that a couple weeks before the playoffs started. So I'm sitting here going, I'm good, right? I traded Trey Lance for Derek Carr and a second earlier this year when Trey Lance got hurt. So I've cycled through these quarterbacks, and all of a sudden I have Kyler, Watson, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr. I think I'm good for the playoffs. Sure. Then boom, we get here. Kyler goes down, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I can win it with, the quarterbacks that I have. So I made this trade. I've been sitting on Kupp all year, haven't found the right deal for him. So to be able to put him in a trade with Kyler, I know Shane's shitting on Mac Jones. Honestly, I think Mac Jones and Derek Carr are basically the same thing on my roster going forward. Mac Jones is good. No one will believe it, but Mac Jones is I'll swap him for Derek Carr all day. So I just look at it as I'm probably losing the deal in 3 weeks, but I have 623 firsts, including the 101. So I have a lot of flexibility, and I have 4 quarterbacks that are alive. Now, Shane will probably debate how alive Mac Jones is, but I have 4 quarterbacks that are alive plus a bunch of picks, and I have a live chance at the championship this year. So that's not anything more than I can ask. So that's my justification. And I'll just say this, in a point per carry, I have no issue tiering receivers like this. This is a point per carry where you only have to start 2 receivers. So I look at Kupp as I look at Hollywood and Kupp as literally a 1-for-1. I might actually prefer Hollywood Brown. So I actually think that was a little bit of a win for me. And I've been trying to shop Kupp all year ever since he went down. Haven't been able to get anything for him. So yeah, I'll take it.
Just real quick, because I like to trash Mac Jones whenever I can, and Scott's giving me the ample opportunity to do so. Mac Jones has been a top 12 quarterback twice this year. He is the definition of jag. There's a term we don't use anymore that we need to bring back. He's just a guy, but I still like the trade.
His rookie year numbers say different. Here's what he needs: a new offensive coordinator, a new head coach, and 4 weapons, and a better offensive line, and he's good.
He's good. He's good.
So basically, he needs everything.
This is how all these streams start. There's additional extra 5 minutes of bickering because Mac Jones comes into the conversation.
Mac Jones is the most contentious.
Let's talk about Kenny Pickett.
So let's So what would you pay for Kyler right now in a 1 QB? Let's call it a 1 QB start 10, PPR. What are you paying for him? Or I'm
not giving
sorry.
up.
Sorry, what are you selling him for?
Oh,
Pardon me.
what I'm selling him for? Any
Are you
first?
selling
Can I
him
get a
for
first?
No, probably not, right?
No.
Are you selling him for a
Wait a
23
second.
second?
Wait a second. Let's clarify here. Kyler Murray, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, the guy
Shane's selling for any first.
any first in a 2 QB. Or no, I'm sorry, in a single QB.
We're doing great.
Yeah, in a single QB league.
Okay. Single. I still don't. I get it, but even in a single QB, what else are you pivoting to?
I don't care. Someone that's helping me next year. I got a first-round draft pick. I'm gonna
Okay.
combine that, or I'm gonna go flip that first for Justin Fields. You know why? He has all his ACLs.
Okay.
All of
So
them.
single QB, that's where you were going.
Yeah.
All right. I got it. I got you.
Not in
Continue,
a
Clay.
yeah, not in a super flex. I can't do a single first.
Yeah, because we're asked, in a 1 QB, what is Kyler's value right now? So
Well, let me just add this. In 1 QB, here's the thing. The quarterback is as good as their availability, and they're fine to cycle out more because the risk you can take on trying to hit on one is it's not as big if you miss, right? So like if you sell Kyler Murray for a first, any first, you probably have a better shot of trying to go do exactly what Shane said is, can you go buy Justin Fields? Maybe you have to add a second or you have to add a wide receiver or something. But you can fix your mistake a lot more than you can in a Superflex. Superflex, if you have Kyler Murray, you realize real quickly some of the offers you're getting. I've seen a couple deals today where basically people are trading Kyler Murray for like 2 quarterbacks. And it's like they get, Daniel Jones, Jared Goff in a second, and that's just the kind of trade where you're going like, all right, you're literally selling your soul for the next 12 months, if not less than that, because who's guaranteeing you're even getting what you think from those guys. But immediately when he comes back, he leaps 3 times ahead of those guys. So why are you making that kind of trade? So I think in Superflex, man, if you have Kyler, you quickly realize like nobody else wants to pay the price you want for him. But then quickly you realize, okay, he's probably still a first-round startup pick. So what do?
Yeah. Yep. Flybladder says, always good to have guys on your roster with all of their ACLs intact. Nice move, Shane. That's generally good strategy. So I had this one in the hopper, and this was kind of this was going to be the theme of tonight's show. That was before Kyler's injury went down. I didn't think we were going to be starting off by talking about Kyler and an ACL. It's sad times. It was never again. You're stuck on this playoff bubble. You were right there. You're thinking like, man, if I had just made another move, I'd be in the playoffs. Now here I am. Like, what am I going to get the, 107 or what have you pick in the draft? You don't want to be middle of the road anymore. What factors would make you go one way or the other so you're not stuck on the playoff bubble forever? So essentially just talk to me about if you're a middle of the road team, how do you need to look at your roster to be able to turn it around? Like how are you dissecting your own roster? Be like, all right, which way am I going to go? Am I going to blow this up or am I going to make some moves?
All right, well, am I middle of the road because of my position players or am I middle of the road because my quarterbacks are bad? Because that's going to really determine a lot of what I do. Am I middle of the road because I'm strong at old running backs? I got Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, name another old person, Ezekiel Elliott, Walter Payton, etc. My running backs are just ancient, and I'm middle of the road. I mean, it really depends. Am I middle of the road because my wide receivers were young? Did I go heavy rookie wide receiver? I got Garrett Wilson. I got Chris Olave. I got Drake London. I got Skyy Moore. I went ape shit during the rookie draft and just grabbed them all. Fell in love with them all. Devonta Smith the year before. It's really going to depend on what my roster build and what it looks like. If it's a bunch of old running backs, well, guess what? I'm closer to blowing it up than I am doing anything else. And if it's missing 2 QBs, well, there's a good chance I'm blowing it up more than anything else. If it's missing 1 QB, well, then we can make some moves and I can make that a better roster.
I think another factor to add into this is what is everybody else in the league doing? We did a roster review the other day, and it was very clear that 7 of the other teams in the league out of 12 were also tanking. So then you're like, do you want to tank against 7 other teams? If you might be the best at tanking, but your advantage, your marginal advantage over 7 other teams when you're all shooting for the exact same thing. Everyone's shooting for a higher draft pick. Everyone's trying to eliminate points off of their roster. Everybody's trying to sell for future picks. At what point do you say, okay, I see how the league is structured. Let me maybe not go completely the other way. It doesn't mean blow up your tank, but maybe you differentiate yourself between the 4 or 5 other teams that literally don't care. They're doing anything they can to get rid of players. Maybe you play it a little more down the middle. Maybe you do like a productive struggle, but you're also willing to be aggressive and buy faster than the other teams. So I think you have to read the room too. I mean, I'm in some leagues where there isn't a great team. Why would I ever rebuild? Why would I plan to compete in 2025 when the top team in the league just finished, 9-5, 10-4. And I look at their roster and I go, you know what? I mean, that team still lost 4 or 5 games. They don't have a dominant squad. Maybe this wasn't even the youngest team in the league. This wasn't the team that had the most picks. Like, that's the type of league where I'm going to be a lot more aggressive. And then I know we're in some leagues where it's like, yeah, man, that top team's stacked. Somehow they also have the 101. Like that's a team I'm not going to be able to topple overnight with a couple trades. So I think you have to read the room too. And that's tough because a lot of times we'll say, hey, this is the move you should be doing if you're going in this direction. But maybe you're not going in the right direction. And it has nothing to do with your players. It has nothing to do with like how many points you scored. It's really about the rest of the league. And sometimes that's hard to read. And I think Shane makes a great point too about why did you fail? Just because you're middle of the pack. If you're middle of the pack because you thought you were going to be in the bottom 3 and then you happen to finish 6th, that doesn't mean you try to get to the bottom next year. It means you actually try to aggressively get back to the top quicker. So I think there's a lot of factors that go into it, but that's one of the most important things is you got to know your league landscape and have a pulse on it.
For sure. Okay, let's jump right into our chat questions here. We of course got a bunch of super chats. This one too soon? Kyler Instinct? Too soon on the screen name there?
No. Read the next one.
No. I'm saying the name, the username.
Obviously, put $5 on it, so yeah. Who cares?
No. I'm messing around. Thank you for the super chat, man. Let's see. It looks like this is one of 2. Okay, 10-team Superflex, half PPR, start 11. QBs are Kyler, Carr, Ritter, Mike White, and Purdy. RBs are trash cans. Wide receivers are Terry McLaurin, Treylon Burks, Keenan Allen, Claypool, and Thielen. Tight ends are Everett, Okongwu. Got the I never see his last name. Got the 101, 102, 104.
And then
where's the second one?
It's right there, dude. Right there.
And the 106. And 3 seconds. All picks in 24 and 25. What move should I be thinking about in the offseason? Might be a roster review candidate? ? Yes, it might be. So let's go back to the one of 2. Kyler, Carr, Ritter, Mike White, Purdy.
So I assume this team is packing it in. They're out of it this year, I'm guessing.
Well, I'm going to say since their quarterbacks are now Carr, Ritter, Frank White, and Brock Purdy, yeah.
Hey, I put out a challenge on the Patreon the other day. Anybody that it can win a championship starting Brock Purdy and Mike White the whole way, I will pay your buy-in. And of course, if they win, you gotta reimburse me. There's got to be some stakes for me. But don't be shitting on Mike White and Brock Purdy, Shane. They're going to be on some championship rosters, possibly in some starting lineups.
They're no Mac Jones, but they may be on some.
And I'm just waiting for one of Shane's teams that has Lamar and Kyler to go down to a Mike White, Brock Purdy team, and he'll change his tune.
All right, so it's a half PPR. It's got the 101, 102, 104. And then the 106 and some seconds we saw on the other screen. What was the question?
Just what moves does he make in the offseason?
What moves does he make? Okay, so are you taking I guess you're taking Bijan with a 101, right? Is that pretty easy?
I mean, it feels like a team where, like, I'm sure if this was a roster review, a couple of the first questions we would have is why do you have some of the players in combination with the other players that you have? You have all these picks, but you still have Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Adam Thielen. Like it seems like we're not really sure what direction the team was going. Was it trying to compete and then realized quickly that it wasn't going to, but then just held on to these players? I mean, I don't know Shane's thoughts, but I think you almost have to. Some of the guys you have, it's already too late to trade them. There's no point in trying to trade Keenan Allen or Terry McLaurin right now. You might as well wait, almost try to contend with those guys next year, but with the acceptance that they're gonna run into the ground if you can't get anything for him. But you have enough picks to where, if he made all his picks, his quarterbacks are going to be a little bit of an issue next year. But, he's got a lot of assets. It's just you got to allocate him in the right direction. This is a perfect candidate for the question you just asked a couple minutes ago. This seems like a, 6th or 7th place roster, but has a lot of picks. So what direction do I go?
You got a lot of picks. So first of all, yeah, I'm probably going to take freaking Bijan at 101 and just call it a day. 102, I'm taking Bryce Stroud, whichever one gets drafted first, unless you can somehow snooker someone into letting you buy a quarterback off them since you have a bunch of picks.
Anthony J. Stroud.
Anthony J. Stroud, yeah.
You got to have Anthony Richardson in that group right there.
Okay, fine. AJB, BJ.
Or doesn't he have 2, 4, and 6?
Yeah,
I'm saying 2, 4, 6.
You take multiple quarterbacks then, yeah?
We could do that, or we could just be like, you know what? It's not fun trying to figure out what quarterbacks are good because, it's hard. So let me just go give you a couple of these picks because your team's bad also, and you have less picks than me. So I will give you 2 of them for your very good quarterback. I would like to take Mr. Justin Fields from you. What would it take for me to get Jalen Hurts? Aim big.
102 and
102, 104, 106.
102 and Treylon Burks for Justin Fields.
See,
that's an offer worth sending. And then if you don't win next year, you at least have Fields and Kyler and maybe Derek Carr as your QB3 heading into the second half of next year, and you still have those other picks to play with. I like that.
Yeah, and it sounds like it could be a roster review candidate. There are 15 people probably who are still waiting to hear back from me, who have sent me emails about them. So those are coming. We get blasted by them. My apologies. I had a kid who didn't want to participate in live streaming today, so he didn't want me to be on time and on point. But we've got a super chat from Clay.
Clay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Clay Gassner. 10 team, 1 QB, half PPR, start 8, rebuild. Have the 101, 103, 104, and 2 playoff firsts, 224 firsts. Have Burrow, Chase, London, Deontay, Skyy, Pitts, no RBs. Have a guy that's interested in moving, AJB. What should I offer?
Everything.
Well, this is a start 8, and you have Burrow, Chase, London, Deontay Johnson, Kyle Pitts, the 101, and 4 other 23 firsts plus 2 24 firsts. This isn't a rebuild roster as soon as this season ends. This is I'm going for the ship in the next 2 years. I don't know, Shane. What do you think? 103 and late first?
Starting with the 104 and Deontay Johnson. I'd rather have the pick. The picks are fungible assets. Get used to me saying that word because it's draft season. Look it up. I know I use that word correctly, baby. What we ought not do is use too many picks to get AJ Brown, but frankly, it's a start 8.
What if he has to have the 103 and Drake London? You still doing it?
103 and Drake
start 8?
London, start 8, AJB.
So it's a rebuild. So it's a rebuild though. Rebuild.
But
I'm
it's a
okay
start 8.
No, yeah, I'm good with it because look, I think Drake London's going to be very good. I do, with all my heart, most of my heart. What's left of it, mostly dead inside. So there's nothing there. But I know what AJB is. AJB is a guy that's got 6 touchdowns over 25 yards this year. AJB is a guy that can break off 40-point games. AJB is a guy that can, get targeted 15 times by Jalen Hurts in one game. So, yeah, I'll go with AJB there.
So just to play devil's advocate, Shane, this is a half PPR.
Yeah.
Can you dig your heels in a little bit and say it's, 104 in a late first or 103 in a late first, and I'm not budging, and you know what I'm going to do if I don't get AJ Brown?
Look, you can.
I'm just going to beat you to death with every running back.
you can say whatever. Here's a beautiful thing, right, about negotiations. I can say whatever I want. And then when it comes down to it, I can always just do something else and say, well, you got me there. I didn't think you'd hold the line. So, but I'm fine. Look, 103 and Deontay Johnson is where I start. That's where I start.
Okay, so let's go to another one I have in the hopper, as opposed to a trade. We'll go back to the comments. I'm sure we have more super chats because you guys are generous and awesome. Let's go with this one right here. 12-team Superflex, start 10, rebuilding. Have Lance and Pickett, so I need to address my QB room. I have a few 23s. Mine looks like top 3, and a 24 first. Should I add QBs through the draft or trades? So this is something we always talk about. It's better to be able to acquire a QB via trade if you can, veterans, as opposed to hoping to hit on the rookies. But what do you think about this case? Lance Pickett.
Yeah, he still needs to buy a QB. Both his QBs are questionable. Look,
should he draft? His question is, should he draft or trade?
I mean, he may be forced to because of the landscape, but I think we always say, if you're holding a 102, 103, I'm putting it on the table for one of the top 12 quarter. I mean, this is a perfect team depending on what the rest of his roster looks like. This is a team I go after Kyler Murray. I'd trade the 103 for Kyler Murray if that's the only way he can get a quarterback. Now, there's a little risk there, like we talked about in the video, that you may be passing up on a quarterback that you prefer. But I mean, if that's how hard is it to get elite quarterbacks? Impossible. So if someone's putting one on the block, like, you have to at least put that 102 or 103 in the mix. And if they say, no, I need 102 and 2 firsts, okay, then I'll back off and I'll just draft one at that point. But I think you got to put these type of picks on the block early, see if you can get them.
Yeah, and when you can get an elite quarterback, and like, I don't say this facetiously. Oh god damn, I'm killing the English language today. I'm just doing it. I'm doing the thing. I'm proud of me. You can get them when they are serial sexual predators, Deshaun Watson, or when they tear an ACL, Kyler Murray. That's when you can buy them. So you can wait and hope that a once in a, I don't want to say lifetime opportunity comes before you, but it's rare. It really is rare.
Yep. Okay. Alrighty. We will keep rolling here. We've got 300 eyeballs in here. Thank you so much for joining tonight. Like I said at the start of the stream, we have 5,000 subscribers today, which was very cool. Very cool. We just want to say thanks to everybody out there who supports us. It's because of you that we got here. So much appreciated. We'll do more hugs and sweet stuff later, and we'll come up with we're going to give out a free roster review today. So stay tuned for that.
Free roster review.
And I know people can't be here sometimes. We got some international crowds who'd be like, man, I can't make a stream, but I always listen to your shit. We'll come up with a way to get a roster review for them as well.
Like that guy that listened, he risked his own life to listen from North Korea last week.
Yeah.
That guy, Jesus.
Yeah, no, for sure. There was one here. Just give me a second while I find this. It is okay. We've been getting a lot of questions about determining picks and how to work with the playoff brackets and whatnot. Our league just decided the picks 7 to 12 will be determined by playoff performance. How would that impact your value assessment of a perceived playoff team's first round pick?
Like, was it just decided, or was this how it's always been? Or because my first thought is, if you just decided it and something's changed, then I'll just leave.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to assess that I'm joining a different league next year and saying peace because this commissioner sucks. Unless, okay, let me put this out there. Maybe we didn't think it through, and at the end of the season, everyone voted on it, and it passed unanimously.
So this is probably going to be for next season, I'm guessing.
Yeah, okay. Like, Corey, you make a new league, and this is the rule. Okay. I guess my first thought is, isn't this typically how it's normally done?
Yeah, that's how it is always done.
I mean, I guess I've been in leagues before where they make you play for your picks. So essentially you have to play a head-to-head matchup. So it's not necessarily determinant on like just the bracket. Like, you play for every pick, but it's kind of the same thing. Like, you're essentially looking at the bracket and you're rewarding each pick probably based on a tiebreaker. Like, whoever loses in the first round the 5th and the 6th seed, if they both lose, there's some sort of tiebreaker to determine who gets the 107 or the 108. So I don't know really any other way to do it unless you just take like potential points and you just seed it that way. I know Safe Leagues does it that way.
Mm-hmm.
They seed 1 through 10 based on potential points. And then 11 and 12 is just based on whoever's in the championship game. So it's like, it doesn't really matter where you finish. If you don't make the championship game, it's based on your potential points. So you can literally be in the semifinals, but end up getting the 104. I had that last year in a league where I lost in the semis, but my potential points were really low. So I ended up with the 104. So it was like, I could have made the finals, but I ended up with the 104. So I guess little things like that. But typically I would say this is just the way everyone does it.
Yeah, I'm in a couple leagues. It's tricky. So the winner of the toilet bowl gets 101. And you've got a bunch of
101?
Yes. So it gets 101. So I'm in 2 leagues like that. And it makes it very interesting when you want to trade, the 23 first, because you're guessing like, man, could this end up being the 101? Like, is this person going to be able to win this toilet bowl? And I'm trading away Bijan for, ETN in this case. It makes it very challenging, man.
You don't want the shittiest team's pick. You want, you
exactly.
want the worst team that barely misses the play, or the best team that barely misses the playoffs, right?
Exactly. So that's the hardest thing to try to project.
Yeah, there's no way to figure that out. That's just whoever wins the 101, it's luck of the draw. Look, you've deserved the 101. You should get the 101 based off your record. Now, I have found that this year is the first time I've ever really needed to do it, but enforce some anti-tanking laws. Specifically, you have to start players that are, not on a bye and not on the injured reserve. But the 101 should go to the worst player. That is a strategy. Or not the worst player, excuse me, the worst record by points or whatever. That's a strategy. Like, there's legitimate work that goes into that.
Well, I was also going to say that
you have to be good at sucking.
Well, no, I'm in some league. Shane is in a league with myself. It's a Jax's league. And people just flat out don't set lineups. They pull all their players out and start nobody.
Yeah, that's just.
And the goal is to get to the bottom, and there's no rules against it. So it's like one person does it, then 2 people are doing it, then 4 people are doing it. But then once 4 people are doing it, it's too late because one person did it ahead of the others. So the only thing I would say, and I've noticed this, I did it wrong last year and I've fixed it in some of my leagues this year. If you're going to play for picks, if you're going to play for any of the higher picks, the 101, or you're going to have to play out your picks, the worst 2 teams should get the bye in the consolation. I see that sometimes where it's like, the worst team has to play in the first round of the consolation. If you're playing for the 101, that worst team should get the bye. That it should be the opposite of what it would be in a typical playoffs. So
yeah. Okay, let's move on to Brian. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. It's a start 13, 2 QB, Superflex, 2 tight end, 5 point per passing touchdown, -4 for interceptions, 0.33 point per carry, so a huge point per carry, 1.25 for wide receivers, and 2.0 PPR for tight ends. So it's give the 101 and 106. Receive Lamar Jackson. You can start up to 3 QBs and have Watson of note.
Oh man, there's so many intricacies here with the start 13, right? But the 0.33 PPC, and you can start
2
up to
tight
3
ends.
quarterbacks. I'm doing it. It's 3 quarterbacks. You can start 3 quarterbacks. I'm hoping that his third is going to be pretty good too. Lamar and Watson is pretty.
So what's Bijan going to throw up in that format?
This is so involved that you almost have to run the scoring matrix to figure out where everything stands here. My first inclination is going to be Lamar. I assume the quarterbacks get the point per carry.
I got it.
So it does bump him up, but man, that quarterback scoring is not favorable to a guy that's not throwing for a lot of yardage and not throwing for a lot of touchdowns. That's the one thing is the gap. I think part of his point per carry gap is going to be making up by the fact that it's 5 - 4. But then you add in the scarcity that it's 2 QB and you can start another one. So it's like, I'm guessing that's really hard to get quarterbacks that even put up positive points. But at the same time, like, do you even want to start a 3rd QB in your super flex when your running backs are getting 0.33 point per carry?
Well, when my quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, yes, I do.
Yeah, That's a tough one because I wonder if you hit on a quarterback that is efficient that just doesn't throw a lot of interceptions. I wonder what they are relative to the elite quarterbacks. Is it worth giving up Bijan in a 0.33 point per carry plus another first? Man,
Yeah.
I need to see the scoring matrix on that. Brian, message me. He's in the Patreon. Message me. I want to run the numbers on that league. That's fascinating to me.
Hey, Brian, you're not in my Patreon, so don't message me.
Yeah. Message Shane and ask him for a full breakdown of that format.
You can message me, bro, but I think I want Lamar here. 0.33. What does Lamar average? About 150 carries a year right now?
Yeah, but at the same time, the gap between if you in those formats, like the 6-4, the yardage matters too, because that's a way to make up extra points between the interceptions and the touchdowns. Yep. And Lamar's not he's not even a 4,000 yard passer. So I'd almost rather have a guy like, give me an efficient guy that's going to throw 35 touchdowns and 15 interceptions because the gap's going to be bigger, but also can throw for 4,800 yards,
I mean, let's just look at this year, just for funsies. Lamar's got, oh, God damn it. Why you do that to me? Pro Football Reference. I'm counting you last week. I hope no one buys you now. He has seven interceptions. Whatever. I don't feel like looking it up. Whatever. Yeah. All right. Messages, bro.
Okay, let's move on here to another one. This one's interesting. What are we doing with the Houston and Seattle backfields
this week?
Let's
Seattle plays tomorrow. I don't want to. Seattle plays tomorrow. It sounds like Ken Walker plays Thursday. It sounds like Ken Walker could play, but it feels like a Thursday night game, short week. This is the perfect game against San Fran, pass. And then after this week, it's, hopefully Ken Walker the last two games.
This is
Seattle fade. Dynasty.
What are we doing with Houston and Seattle?
I mean, is there even
is Pierce going to be a workhorse there next year?
No. Here's the problem. You should have sold Pierce 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a guy. He's somewhere between, David Montgomery and Alexander Madison. I don't think he gets any higher than that. So if you didn't sell him, then you're basically riding into the offseason and hoping he's more David Montgomery than Alexander Madison.
Yep. I'll have to pull up a Pierce trade that I made. I was pleased with it. I got Shane's boy Pickens. Okay, let's hide that one and keep moving here. We've got a very generous super chat from someone in the crew here. Much appreciated. He of course knew that we celebrating 5,000 subscribers today, so he gave us $50 super chat. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, I don't see, and real quick, I don't see the second part of his question.
Uh-oh, that's not ideal. All right, so I can
check Pro Football Reference.
I see it. You did it. He attached another $10 to it, which was unnecessary, but thank you very much.
But thank you.
Okay, so we got a 12-team Superflex start 10. Traded away a 23 mid first, a 24 late second, Tolbert for Ken Walker. Was this smart? So let's take that as is before I read this next chunk. What do you think about that initially? Mid 23 first, late 24 second, and Tolbert for Ken Walker.
I mean, no one cares about Tolbert. I legitimately mean, Scott talked about this the other day. He was on a roster review, and I forgot he was a person. So
I've cut him in every league. That's a definition of a roster clogger. So
I don't care about that. A second, look, I like seconds. They're fun to have, but I'm fine with trading a mid first and a late second for Kenny Walker. I like what I saw from him this year.
Smash deal.
I like it a lot. Yeah,
I mean, look at the context too. He's got 5 more 23 firsts, 22 24 firsts. I mean, look at his receivers. He's got Brees, ETN, Ken Walker, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, good luck seeing this team in your league.
Yeah. Let me read through the rest of it. So made that trade. Now have Mahomes, Lamar, Brees, ETN, Walker, Olave, Wilson, Amon-Ra, T, London, Burks. What a stupid team here. Hollywood, Ridley, Kelsey, 523 first, 224 first. You can take down the ship for multiple years here. Did it because I'm playing for lottery balls in the toilet bowl and set up for the future next year. Right move to sell 23 mid firsts, or should I hold on to draft picks?
I think he can do whatever he wants in this format. Like, you can shop around for studs. You can continue to sell. I mean, shit, he has 8 receivers in there already. He's probably already got close to enough receivers for next year, plus all those picks. You know, he's going to end up drafting a couple receivers probably.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you have the ability to even start kicking the can down the road even
That's
another
what
year.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, sell a mid-first for 2 picks in the future, and you're still stacked, and you're just extending the window to. Yeah, I mean, you can keep sending these super chats to us because this team's going to cash for years, unless you really screw it up, this team's going to cash.
Yeah, no. Ridiculous team there. You could almost have like a contending roster and a, dynasty rebuild roster or what have you, like on the same squad there. You just like can mix and match as you'd like.
That's the goal, Clay. I'm rebuilding a second team on my bench, and it's still better than 3 or 4 of the other rebuilders.
You have a
in the
farm
league.
Team on your own team.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Let's keep going here. Let's go to Nathan. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. Elijah Moore, Thornton, Bell, Schultz, Otten, Bellinger hold 423 firsts, the 101, 103, 104, and the 105 to 110, and 224 firsts and a second, 25 firsts and a second in the playoffs. Okay. Is there another chunk to this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I only saw that.
Okay. So,
no, that definitely looks like there's another one. Nathan, I'm big.
Here it is. I traded Zeke for a 24 first last week. Nicely done on that.
Done.
That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So going back to this other part here, there's got to be another something here, right, Nathan? Do you want to repost it in the chat for us?
Is it what to do or where to go with the roster? Or I don't know. But he said in playoffs, so I'm not sure if there's more context.
Yeah. Right. So we'll keep this one up here.
Got it.
There we go.
Nathan, hey, look, real quick. Appreciate your super chats, everyone. But if it's 2 questions, you don't have to add money to both of them, bros.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Love you all.
Yes. Thank you.
And just a caveat, put like 1 of 2 or 1 of 3. That way Shane knows to grab it. But you don't need to put money on each question.
Yeah, definitely put 1 of 2 because I'm not great.
Type Shane. Type Shane in all caps.
Shane, read here.
Shane, 1 of 2. No. How would you consolidate this roster? First year, 10 teams, start 9, full PPR, 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, tight end, 2 flexes, 10-man bench, 3-man taxi. Okay, so we got Allen, Hall, Stevenson, Knight, Madison, Kelly, Strong, TDP, Adams.
So the other one where he had the other players listed with the tight ends was his second part of this roster. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah. Okay.
Whew, that's a lot. Let's see. So it's a 10-team start 9, and it's just full PPR. So go back to the first part, Clay, if you could.
So 101, 103, 104, 105, and then another, 105 to 110. So like a late-ish one. Mid to late.
Okay. So that doesn't mean he has 105 through 110.
No.
Okay. I'll say, Jesus.
That would be pretty good.
It's like every pick. Go back to the quarterbacks. I want to start there.
Shane, can you put that one back up? It's not starred. Otherwise, I'd be able to do it myself.
Well,
oh
my God. You guys are making me do stuff.
It's great podcasting right here.
This was not the deal. Let's just fill it.
No, here it is. How would you consolidate this roster? Okay, here's the quarterbacks. It's 1 QB.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, because we see this a lot with people that submit 1 QB teams, and their first inclination is first look at the quarterbacks. Do they have more than 1 quarterback? And you think, okay, I don't need more than 1 quarterback. But when you have this many assets, it actually would make sense to go get a second quarterback that you can kind of crowd the market a little bit so that someone else isn't matching your Josh Allen, right? But you also have insurance to where if something were to happen to Allen and he's out for a month, you're not just taking a complete bath at the quarterback position, because you can have a stacked roster. And so it's almost like when you have this many assets, I want to go get a backup quarterback that'll kind of crowd out the room a little bit as well. So once you do that, then I mean his running backs are fine. like I would say probably want to consolidate the running backs. We talked about this on last week's stream. The shallower leagues, as much as we don't like running backs, like you probably want to shoot for more of the high warp running backs just because there's that the high end teams are going to be tougher to beat. It's going to be hard to beat teams with Zonovan Knight in a 10-team start 9. 12 teams start 13. Okay, he's an obvious starter in that format. So, but then he's got all those picks. So, like, what else are you going to do with the picks other than draft running backs or trade them away? So, like, I don't know. I don't know really what he looks like. He can use some better players, but he has so many assets. Maybe look for some consolidation deals.
Well, yeah. So look, Gabe Davis, is there an idiot in your league that thinks he's actually, or she, I don't want to be sexist here. Does he or she, are they stupid enough to think that Gabe Davis is a wide receiver too?
He's got Josh Allen though. Like I would rather keep Gabe Davis and try to move Juju, Deebo Samuel, Treylon Burks, any of those guys.
Calm down, breathe. Move Gabe Davis and something else for Steph Diggs. Go get the actual alpha in that offense. The actual person that's worth owning, stacking, other than the 4 weeks a year that Gabe Davis gives you any production. I just love trashing Gabe Davis because it was such a bad process that people loved him. But anyway.
So 102 and Gabe Davis for Stephon Diggs. Done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thank you very much again for that, Nathan. We are.
Let me just say this, Nathan. You can message us privately because you literally submitted like a ton for that, and I just want to make sure we do it justice. So if you have any follow-up questions, you can DM us. That's fine. We'll get back to you.
You would not be the first for sure. Or the last.
For sure. Okay.
Alexa, turn off second light.
Let's put up this one right here because I actually made a Lamar trade a few hours ago. So Parker Watson says, "What are some deals for Lamar?" Okay, what have you seen, or should I start off with mine?
I made several deals for Lamar Jackson while we were doing this.
Okay, nice.
So I traded. I made a few different trades. I traded Lamar Jackson and a third and a fourth in a 16-team Superflex start 11 for Justin Fields. I traded Lamar Jackson and Rondell Moore for Justin Fields. And then if you are an absolute degenerate in a CDC league, I literally just pulled this off negotiating while we were doing this. I traded Lamar Jackson and my second and third round college picks, not draft rookie picks. These are my college picks. So they're, 18-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids. That's not my strength. For Justin Hebert.
Yeah. Nice.
Now that one's a steal. The Herbert.
Yeah, I know you don't.
One's a steal.
I know you don't like the Fields ones. But I
no, and you're making assumptions, Shane. You don't know me that well. You've only known me for 6 years, but you don't know me that well. I do wonder, and this is just me wondering out loud. Does Lamar Jackson see what happened to Kyler Murray last night and go, maybe I'm not interested in coming back this year.
Yeah, not going to rush.
Maybe I'm going to milk this until the end of the year. If the Ravens get in the playoffs, I'll show up for that playoff game. But, he's already behind the 8 ball. He has to look at the other teams in the AFC and be like, let's be real. Are we really going to beat like Buffalo, Cincy, KC 3 straight games to get to the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? And he's what happened to Kyler last night from literally costing him $200 million. So I don't know.
And what I found a little disconcerting is that it went from Lamar's probably going to miss a week until the other day. Then it was like, there's no way he's coming back next week either. And it was like, whoa, this escalated way too quickly.
Could be week 16, right?
Yeah.
So you may be out the whole fantasy playoffs.
Yeah. So I know with the Fields one, the Fields one's sketchy, right? Because that's the one I'm going to be concerned. Like, all right, he's going up against an Eagles defense that is just absolutely monstrous. But I'm going to have to pray for garbage points or he just breaks off a 60-yard touchdown, which is in his wheelhouse, is something that he can do. And then going forward, Fields is pretty close to that Lamar tier for me now.
Yep. I like it. Little conviction. You paid the tax, but you also convinced people to give up a quarterback that you easily in 6 months could say is 1-for-1 for Lamar, and you didn't pay much. So I like it.
Okay, so mine, I'll bring mine up. So this is kind of a sad team because it's stacked, but I was lazy trying to get a second QB in Superflex. So I had a couple trash cans and I had Deshaun Watson. I was waiting on him, suspended. I was like, come on back, man, come on back, because the rest of my team is pretty stacked. It's a Superflex. It's a start. I think it's only a start 9 or 10, but it's a two tight end premium, and it's all flexes after that. So QB, two tight ends, a super flex, and just all flexes. I've got Travis Kelce on that team, Darren Waller, bummer, Dallas Goedert. I'm stacked, right? So I traded Matt Ryan and Baker Mayfield and a playoff 23 first, my 24 first, and a 25 first for Lamar. So now I'm going to have Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson and a pretty stacked squad next season. I just missed the playoffs.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
So you gave up
3 firsts,
an old trash can at quarterback, a younger trash can at quarterback, a 25 first, which isn't real.
Yep.
And then 2 late firsts, a 24
yeah, exactly.
and a 23. I mean, come on.
I did not expect him to accept that, but hey, just send out the offer, right? Shooter's got to shoot. Unless you're in our leagues, don't send us shitty.
That's
offers.
why you send out the offer, because 1 out of 100 of those gets accepted, and you're like, "Whoa, what was he thinking?" Great deal, Clay. Great deal.
Yeah. Oh,
Most people wouldn't even have sent that shit.
Yeah, I was like, F it. It was too little, too late, man. That's again the theme of this show is never again am I going to be on that bubble, because I could totally smash with this team. Okay, moving on. Let's go to Brooks here. Thank you for the super chat, man. 1 QB, 10 team, half PPR, start 9. Big rebuild. Assets are Lamar, Amon-Ra, Brees, Burks, Christian Watson, Jameson Williams, and Cole Kmet.
Is that it?
Is that it? We did the Shane 1 of 2 thing again.
Okay, where's the question?
Is everyone just messing with me tonight? I'll dig it out. So just read his team slowly.
Yeah, I already did. We'll dig it up. We'll hide it. We'll hide it for now. What's the highest pick you'd spend on Treylon Burks?
I mean, the more you dig into this receiver class, if you told me, it's really where do you think the wide receiver 2, 3, 4 is going to go? And it's probably right in there. So I would say like 106 to 110 range. But if you just said, you know what, I know who's going to be there at the 106 and 107, and I just put their profile side by side with Treylon Burks, and I don't hate it. Really, all you're giving up is the allure of the pick, because it's a mystery box.
Yeah,
so I'd be okay with that. Mid to late first.
If we're just slotting him in, I could see him as being the wide receiver 3 in this class right now. No doubt about it.
He is on Tennessee. That's the only thing that makes me kind of say, like, even if he's good, even if all of his usage is very good, what's the fantasy production that goes along with that? But we're also wrong about situations. We'll fade a guy because of the situation. We think it's going to be the same situation for 3 years, and then it changes next year, and you're like, whoops.
Yep. We've learned that. You always bet on the talent and then hope that the situation improves, because the talent's not going to improve. You know what I mean? Like, over time, you are what you are mostly, unless you're Jalen Hurts, and you go from a trash can to the MVP and one of the greatest quarterbacks in football in 2 years.
So you're telling me Gabe Davis isn't going to get a lot better, Shane?
I don't think so, but I would if I wish I had more of him on my rosters to trade. But anyway,
did you find that yet? By chance?
Yeah, it's the last one I started.
All right, cool. Let me.
Can you see me do the fist bump?
Yeah, I did see that. So let me put this part back up. 1 QB, 10 team, half PPR, start 9, big rebuild. It's got Lamar, Amon-Ra, Brees, Burks, Christian Watson, Jamo, and Kmet. Also have the 101 and 2 other firsts, 1 mid, 1 late, and 4 seconds. My instinct is to split Brees and the 101, but looking for advice on how to help this roster. Thanks. You guys are awesome. You're awesome, Brooks.
Give me the first part of that question again.
Yeah. Let me go back up. There we go.
No.
So I think, again, this is one of those where it's a 10-team half PPR start 9. So as much as we talk about running backs don't matter, you don't need so many high-end running backs. In this format, this would be one where I go the idea of pairing Breece Hall and Bijan. I actually want that here. Like, I'm actually okay with it. Now, that doesn't mean go crazy on running backs and want to flex every single running back that I have, but I'm not in a hurry to do what he said with splitting the two. Like, I'm okay being patient on that. If there's an opportunity that comes up where I have Breece and Bijan on the same roster and someone offers me a really awesome split deal during the offseason, like someone comes to me and says, I'll give you, Javonte Williams and another early first for Breece or something like that. Okay, then I would do it because my build is similar. But right now, I'm okay just riding out what he has. He's already got the receivers and the quarterbacks along with his picks that he has. Like, he's going to be able to probably have the right roster construction and probably compete next year.
Dude, yeah, you're going to have the RB1 Bijan, and then the second week that Breece Hall is back from his injury, you have the RB2. And then a start 9, half PPR, you will just absolutely mash people's brains in. Don't get too cute here. Hold on to Breece. This is one where we can wait for Breece to get healthy. It'll suck, the first 4 games if he doesn't play or whatever. But in week 11, when he's just running over people and doing what he did this year, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you'll be loving it.
Yeah. Okay, let's put this up here. We had a bunch of people type this in for us. Congrats on 5K, well deserved, amazing trade, Dynasty content as always. Thank you very much. We're excited. Okay, let's move that one here. Let's go to this one. With the Kyler injury, what are we doing with Hollywood in the offseason?
Buying more because he's a very good receiver. I don't care about the Kyler injury. Whoever the quarterback is, he's like, his floor is what you get from, Deontay Johnson, DJ Moore. That's if the situation just sucks. But
Him or Treylon Burks?
Hollywood Brown's a better player. Does that mean that's the asset that I want? Probably no. I'd rather have Treylon Burks.
Yeah.
The asset. Hollywood Brown, the player, but that's a perfect one where, say they sign, I don't know, I could see them signing like Jacoby Brissett or something like that as their starter. And people are like, oh, that sucks. Give me Treylon Burks. That's when you get Hollywood plus. Hollywood's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still in the buy mode for Hollywood because Hollywood, people didn't like him when the situation was really good, when he was going over there and you could get him fairly cheap, and you'll still be able to get him fairly cheap. And he's a good wide receiver, and good wide receivers are going to perform. Now, is it great with Colt McCoy? No, but I can't imagine they're going to go in the next year with Colt McCoy starting for them.
Okay, so let's move that one here. Okay, let's go to, we already got that. Let's go to Dana Fisher's question. What would you do if your league changed the rules on what? Okay, change the rules on what to get 101 today. All right, let's restart here. Come on, guys. Let's learn this English language. No, I'm kidding.
What is going on that I'm the one that's crushing the English language and you can't speak? Good Lord.
I know. What would you do if your league changed the rules on what to get 101 today from lowest points total to winner of the toilet bowl when the lowest lost Kyler and Debo this weekend?
Leave the league.
Yeah, bro, you can't change rules in week 15.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as much as you might like the league, like, if it was set, it was set. We've all been in leagues where there's a mistake found, and we've been running things based on a mistake, and it's like you still don't change it in week 14 unless it's like everyone agrees we change it. But if it's like, no, man, that's what's written in the bylaws, it's a mistake, but we're not changing it until next year. So, yeah, I'm gone. Sorry.
Right, and it's got to be, and that is consensus? Unanimous. It has to be unanimous, not a consensus, too.
Well, like, okay, the commission realizes, hey, I've been doing this wrong. I'm going to fix it. Does anyone have an issue with it? And if someone comes forward and goes, no, I traded my first rounder based on that, you can't do it. That's not fair. You got to just roll with whatever's in writing and move to next year. But the 101, come on, man, that's shady shit.
Yeah, that's shady shit. That's a lot of stake there. Mike M's got an inbox offer. Let's help him out. 12-team PPR Superflex teams in first place. Give Kyler, get Waddle.
It's Superflex.
Yeah.
What other?
I can't
what
do
other?
this.
Yeah.
I mean, do a startup draft. Would you? I mean, Kyler is still going to go in the top 12 to 15 of a startup draft. So I know startup's not the same as trade value, but this is really selling for 50, 60 cents on the dollar.
Yeah, and the more
I'd rather just buy a filler receiver instead if I need one. I'm not trading Kyler to get one.
Yeah, and the more I see these types of offers, the more resolute I'm in. Like, I'm not giving up Kyler for a singular asset. And even thinking on like the picks, would I give him up for a singular first? No, it would have to be something like the 103 and the 104 to be like, all right, maybe I can do that and work that out. But not for a wide receiver that's not named Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson or.
I was just going to ask you that, Shane. Let's say Kyler's your QB1. You trading him right now for Jamar Chase?
Yes.
Okay. Is that a trade thing?
What you call?
Because if you're doing a brand new startup draft, are you taking Jamar Chase over Kyler Murray in the startup? Or is it different because a startup, you're building a team around your picks versus a trade in an active league? I think there is a difference there.
Yeah, I mean, in a startup, I'm probably going to go Chase or Jefferson over him. Right now, if I was in a startup, that's how I feel. Now, obviously, in 3 months when my head gets settled, I could change my mind. But right now, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
And this one kind of ties in because the initial inbox trade was Waddle. Caleb, thank you for the super chat. Are we concerned about Waddle? Still top 5?
Yes.
No.
Scott's never liked
Scott's shaking his head.
Tell me, why is he top 5 receiver?
How old is he? How many yards has he put up in his first 2 seasons? How many fantasy points has he scored in his first 2 seasons?
There's a difference between top 5 and top 10, top 12. I can respect if you say he's wide receiver 8, 7, 6, 8, 10, but top 5, are you really taking him over AJ Brown or CD Lamb? Like, those are locks above him.
All right. Well, AJ Brown is, yes. Is CD Lamb?
CD Lamb is breaking the charts in usage. He just doesn't have the efficiency with his offense. So
he's 103 for me, for sure.
All right. I'll say this. He's definitely top 10. 105 is probably a little aggressive.
I made the argument that Amon-Ra St. Brown's just better than Jalen Waddle.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so if you're, I mean, that's another one where I think the community would prefer Waddle, but then you look at literally their sample size over the last 24 games, and it's Amon-Ra's blowing him out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just we can't get over the fact one was a top 10 pick and one of them was a 4th round pick. I think that's where the disconnect is. But if you put their numbers side by side, you would think Amon-Ra's numbers are Waddle's.
Okay,
top 10. Top 10, right?
Top 10. Yeah, I'll go top 10.
Yeah, fair.
Top 10 might be a little aggressive because I'm just ranking it in my head now. Like, obviously, it's Chase, Jefferson, AJ Brown, CD Lamb, probably ahead of him. Amon-Ra St. Brown ahead of him.
Well, to put it this way, if I have Waddle, Olave, Amon-Ra, I know people are pissed at T. Higgins because he had another game where he was injured but was playing. I mean, there's a big group there of 6 to 8 receivers. I don't really want to pay a tax to get one or the other. So, sure, Waddle can be in your top 5. It doesn't mean I'm adding to him to go get Chris Olave, or vice versa.
Right.
Okay, let's go to another one here. Let's see. All right, this one is okay. On a rebuilding team that has 323 firsts in the top 6 and 523 seconds, would you try to trade the seconds for a 24 first or current players?
I mean, obviously, if you can get a first for even 2 of the seconds, you would do that. Players, yeah.
Fungible assets.
So I think I'd need context on how many starters, how many roster spots and stuff, because you're actually sitting in a really good spot with 523 seconds and 3 firsts. You control 8 of the top 20, 24 picks.
Yeah, if this is start 13, I want the 523 seconds. I'm probably going to make 3 of those picks, and I'll get fancy with 2 of them and trade them for 1 player.
Start 10, maybe you add a first and a second and try to move up 1 or 2 spots and get the player you want. You probably have the flexibility to make one of those trades, but I'm a little I'm like Shane said it perfectly. I'm holding the picks until I have to pick them, and then I'm going to try to explore trades.
Yep. Okay. Let's get rid of that one there. And I just flipped off the super chats if you're looking to try to do that to get your question answered. Thank you for everybody's generosity up to
They do
this
to you.
point. We have a bunch more in the hopper. We want to address non-super chats as well. And God, one of these days we got to spend 6 hours on here with our friends and subscribers, right? We can knock out a bunch of them.
It's gonna happen.
We keep talking about that. We got to come up with a date to do it. We'll get it on the books, man. We'll make it happen. Okay, let's go back to I saw Skyy Moore's name. Here, let's just put this one up real quick. What to do with Skyy Moore moving forward? He's clogging up a roster spot. Is he worth keeping next year? What's his value?
Yeah, I mean, he's worth keeping because he was drafted in the second round, and you're hoping that he's going to be an outlier. Chances are he's probably Terrace Marshall. But you know what? Look, I'll hold him through the first few weeks of next season before I officially state that he's dead and gone.
So he's one of the toughest players to evaluate because he doesn't have enough of a sample size to really say if he's good or not. Because if he had more playing time, he would grade out as being pretty good, but he hasn't played enough. So at some point, it's an indictment on him that he hasn't played enough.
He hasn't earned that playing time.
I think if you listen to my last DD show, I think the way that I'm going to treat Skyy Moore is, can I trade off of him for a receiver that I think is undervalued on the market, but is also within the threshold that I'm looking for? Can I get that receiver? Yeah, I don't think you can even. You know what? You might be able to get Jacoby Myers for Skyy Moore, but I'm thinking of like Nico Collins was one that I think is a player that falls within the threshold that I could maybe get a pick and Nico Collins for Skyy Moore. And there's a good shot that I have just the better player. Josh Palmer is another one that people will go, you know what, I like him, but Skyy Moore has better pedigree. I'd rather have Josh Palmer. So I think those types you can make a trade, and you don't, because you can't put him in roster clogger range, because it's like then people are going to go, oh, what are you going to do? Cut him? Well, no, you'd be foolish to cut him, because there's a chance somebody will give you something for him if he just has, one good half.
And he's got Mahomes attached to him, so
exactly.
Things can change very quickly with his value.
Who would you prefer, him or Kadarius Toney? They're kind of the same thing going into the offseason.
All day.
Skyy Moore plays football. Even if he can't get on the field, he can't earn snaps. I know at least he'll make it to the field. Kadarius can't even do that.
All right. Let's see. Here's a super chat here. Darth Desmond, thank you very much as always. And he says, hey guys, great content as always. Have Dak, T-Law, and Pickett in a 12-team Superflex. Should I try and buy Kyler in the offseason? Trade deadlines passed.
I mean, sure. Can I trade Pickett and a couple seconds for Kyler?
To you?
Yeah, I know. What about Pickett and a 24 first or Kyler?
No, not the package. Jesus, Kyler.
Yeah, and that would be nice. That'd be a good looking QB room, right?
Yes.
Dak, Kyler, T-Law.
Yes.
I think if you can get your hands, I talked about this a couple weeks ago. If you can get your hands on a third quarterback that's in like that top 12 range, and you can do it at a slight discount, part of what you're buying is you're actually crowding out the market for those quarterbacks. It's one less that's on the market for somebody else. Yeah. So I actually think I love going after Kyler with the Dak and T-Law build, because Kyler is going to be your best quarterback, but you can still get by with probably one of the best quarterback rooms in the league until he comes back. I love that idea. Go do it, Darth Desmond.
Okay,
let's move this one here. Let's go to Rockstar. Thank you very much for the super chat, man, or manette. 10-team Superflex, start 10. Gave up JT, Swift, Freiermuth, and Renfro. Got back Olave, an early 23 first, 23 second, 24 first, and a 25 first. Thoughts?
Swift and JT. I love Olave. 23 first for Swift. Fine. 24 first. Dude, if this 25 first was a 24 or 23, I like this deal a lot more. I hate spreading out the look, and I'm all about getting future picks, but like 1 year out. You know what I mean? Like I was trading for 24 picks this year, not 25 picks. That just feels too spread out to me. It's like an asset that I have that I can't really use yet, like a mutual fund. I don't know how those work.
It's not as fungible.
It's not as fungible.
I mean, I think you'd take Olave in the early first for JT, like all day. Smash. Throw in Freiermuth and a non-tight end premium like that.
I'm taking Olave over. I'll take Olave over Swift easy. Then it's the JTs, the 23 to the 24 first. That's fair. Yeah, you know what? I like this.
Flexibility.
I would take the Olave side. Yeah. I would first maybe try to like break it up and sell them a couple different trades, smaller pieces, see if I can make something happen. But yeah, I'll take the Olave in first.
The only thing you're doing here is you're kind of like you're planting a lot of volatility on one roster and you're getting all of his future picks. Like you're wiping this team out, assuming he's getting 3 years of this guy's picks. Like this is like a JT injury away from this roster being like at the bottom for years in a row, and you have all his firsts. So I like that. I mean, it's a big bet for one team to just trade it for 4 players like this.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Okay, let's move on to another one. Let's find a non super chat one. Hunter Boyd made this trade a while ago. Wondering thoughts. 10 team PPR start 10 super flex. Give Chase, Tua, Brees, and a late 23 second. Get Mahomes, DK, Walker, 23 first. Looks like the 101. Lost Chase, but okay.
Yeah, I can live with this. You got
Super flex.
Yes, 101 and Chase are almost equal.
Sure.
And then you're getting Ken Walker, DK Metcalf, and Patrick Mahomes for Tua, Brees in a second. My God.
Yeah, you absolutely beat their brains in. You got the QB too in Dynasty. That's not bad.
Yeah, and Hunter, in case you're new here, you have to super chat if you want to brag. All right, if you're gonna throw out some shit like this, you gotta attach a couple dollars to it. No, I'm messing with you.
I just wonder, like, what the other team here, what are they thinking?
I don't feel like doing devil's advocate tonight. They weren't. All right, they're brain.
No, I look at these trades and I'm going like I'm giving a 4 for 4. I'm trying to justify like where the other team is thinking they're getting the edge here. It must be just they're getting Jamar Chase.
Yeah, and that feels good. It does. And you're like, oh, well, Tua is a quarterback. He's not really that different than he's a quarterback one. Just
he has an arm and throws the football. Yes.
He's a quarterback one, just like Patrick Mahomes. And you're like, yeah, not really. You're like a pretty wide golf there, but whatever.
Sorry, I'm looking at your private chat message that you sent, Shane. You are just kind of perusing Twitter while you're on here, aren't you? always with us.
I'm always working, man. Never not working.
Never not working. Okay, let's put this one up here. 101 isn't taking Bijan. I have the 104, 110, 202, 204. What would you be willing to give up for the 102?
Okay, could I give up the 104, the 110, the 202, and the 204?
Would you start with the 104 and both of those seconds?
I would start with the 104 and the 110. Yep. Like I wouldn't even dick around.
You wouldn't even, you'd come in hot.
There's no dicking. There's no dicking. I'm just here's the two here. Gimme.
What if 101 just takes Bijan then?
Well, then you're screwed.
Yeah, right. Then you just leave the league, right?
That's what I'm hesitant with this type of deal. Is like, okay, did he tell you he's not taking Bijan until past the combine, and then he goes, well, maybe I rethought that, and I think I'm gonna go Bijan here.
Yeah, after
I just traded up for no reason.
Yeah, because then you're like, crap. Like, what if he does take Bijan? Maybe I need to collude with him to make sure he doesn't. Maybe I need to like break the rules even more because all this.
Or how about this? If I can get the 102, I'll trade you the 102 for the 101, and you're not taking Bijan, and I'm taking Bijan, so I'm gonna get what I want. You're gonna get what you want, and you're gonna get a free. How about a 25 second? That's a free pick, and you're still going to get your player.
25 seconds. All right. Let's go to this one from Brian S. Thank you for the super chat. 10 teams, start 10, 1 QB, PPR. Have the 101, 104, 107. Have Herbert, Dak, Taylor, Monty, Jefferson, Burks, DJ Moore, Cooks, Schultz, and Knox. What do I do with the 104? Trade it away? Who should I target? Thanks.
I mean, it's a 10 team start 10, so it's fairly shallow relative to, it's like a start 8 in a 12 team equivalent.
How about you try to get you some CD to get a little stack there? Can you throw the 104 on top of DJ Moore? That probably won't get you there.
I'm fine just seeing what I can get with the 104 on the open market. It's either best player available or I'll trade it. But I mean, he's got his quarterback set. I mean, I know it's 1 QB, but he's got his backup in Dak, so he's good. He's got Taylor. He's going to add Bijan with Monty. Yeah, I think I'm just trying to get another good receiver, and then this team can win next year.
Shane agrees.
Yeah, I mean, it's if I have to, yeah, I'd throw DJ Moore on the 104 to get me some CD. But I like better shopping the market and see what I can get with the 104, because there's going to be someone during draft season that goes, even if they have a top 12 wide receiver, that's just going to get too cute for things and want to trade them away because they want to draft, because well, we're all degenerates and we like to draft.
Yes, we do.
You can get 15 CDs from Columbia House for the price of one.
No, that's a scam. Well, no fact, scam.
I know.
We'll ruin your credit. Just telling you that now.
So
Shane knows from personal experience.
So I see 376 eyeballs in here. We got 2 likes from Shane's uncle. Did you look down and hit the like? Did you hit that thumbs up? If you wouldn't mind just double checking, make sure you did that. We'd appreciate it. Easiest way to help out our little channel here. Shane, what's going on in the likes situation?
It's less than 200, bro.
That is just...
And we've been steady, like
shocked.
350 plus all night. So hit that like button.
Just
I'm even going to go to my Facebook, which I never go to, and I'm going to like the show.
Yeah, and hit the notification bell as well for our stuff if you haven't already. I think I was looking at the analytics, and there's only like 10% or something have notifications for our show turned on. Don't you? I mean, you can't wait to hear Shane as soon as it comes out, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking at now, Shane? Are you shopping for loofahs? You're shopping for a new loofah?
Well, no, I'm wishing I had my wallet on me so I could purchase Twitter Blue, because I'm online and I'm never actually on my computer. Remember to go buy Twitter Blue. So that's really what I'm wishing. Like, if I get up right now, would anyone notice if I go get my wallet?
Yeah, well, it's I'm gonna have to get up here in like 5 minutes at some point. I'll switch spots with my
Cool.
my wife.
I'll text my ex.
I'm gonna go downstairs.
My bank account information.
Okay, let's I'll put this one up here. Let's see. Let's throw this up. It's actually a good time probably for me to just go downstairs while you guys are chatting about this. All right, okay. Sound good? I'm gonna leave you guys here.
All right. Bye.
Bye, Clay.
Bye.
Show's about to go off the rails.
Oh snap.
So Shane, Benjamin Easley says, "Hey guys, love the show. His league where he's the commish. Talking about a last place punishment. Conveniently, it's the team that made the playoffs, mainly pushing for it. You have any leagues like this with these foolish punishments you got to do if you finish last?"
No. You know what? And I mean, I get it. If it's a home league with a bunch of people like I can hang out with, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know. I think it's stupid then, but I'm old. Look, this is like every other rule to me. If you want to make a change, fine. It can't be retroactive. It can't be this year. It's got to be next year. Just so that the teams that made the playoffs this year aren't exempted. Like, everyone's got to have this fear for the next 6 months hanging over them.
Yeah, I have a couple like this, and there's nothing extreme. They're just like, you get to change whoever's the last place team, you get to change the name of their team for a year to something. Usually it's really stupid, but something like that. It's not anything like you see extreme on Twitter where someone loses and they have to do crazy stuff, dress up to work with something like this, or
get a tattoo of every other guy's name on them, or a girl.
Do something like that. But I mean, it would be fun, but put it this way, I would rather win than I would see the person in last place have to suffer through this. I know that it's just not something that I really care. I'll
tell you what. Next Dynasty trades in 5 listener league. Last place has to get a tattoo with every league names, every league's roster on them, on their back.
They have to get a tattoo of Shane going like this, playing with his beard.
Yes. It's out and
right there. Exactly what you're doing right now. They have to tattoo that on their left calf.
All right, next.
Am I rolling or you? We're lost without Clay.
All right,
okay, here's one. This is our buddy Steven. Anthony Richardson goes in the top 10, Shane. He is a top 3 rookie pick if he goes in round 3. Different story. This wasn't really a question, but it was a comment that I starred. He goes top 10. Are you taking him 102, regardless of where the other quarterbacks get picked?
I don't know that I could take him over Bryce Young. I could talk myself into taking him over CJ Stroud, because then I'll just be like, oh, Ohio State quarterbacks. Either way, I can't see him falling past the 103 and literally any rookie draft that I'm in.
I think that's the thing, is the community will take him extremely high.
Mm-hmm.
Probably even higher than a lot of people are comfortable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he will be going 102 in drafts if he goes that high.
Well, here's the thing. So if he gets that first round draft capital, we almost have, I don't want to say a complete parallel, but we had Malik Willis last year, right? Where the skill set is just bananas. And then he falls to round 3. You know what I mean? So that would tell us right then and there, okay, well, the NFL clearly looks at this guy way differently than they looked at Malik Willis. You know, every team passed on that guy for, 2 times before someone got to draft him. If Richardson's going in the first top 10, that means teams also know there's no way he's falling to the second round. You know what I mean? Which is, again, there's a ton of teams with 2 picks in the first round too. So that would tell you a lot of teams don't think he's going to fall in the first round. So if he goes in the top 10, then dude is just, he's going to be worth it.
And early returns are, he's probably at minimum a top 50 pick. And it's going to be really hard for anything to come up with him that pushes him down like Malik Willis.
Right.
So I'm more leaning towards like top 10 is a higher range of outcomes than falling outside of the second round even. So
yep.
We're going to rapid fire some super chats until Clay gets back. He should be back shortly. There he is.
Oh, hey.
Oh, hey. Hey, team. How are you?
Boom. We got one up here from Brian.
Yes.
16-team auction rookie, start 10. 6 minus 4.25 point per carry. 1.5 PPR for receivers. 2 PPR for tight ends. So talk about another one of these. Brian had the first crazy ass scoring question earlier in the night, and he's got this one too. I'm going to let Shane go on this one because it involves a player that.
So real quick, did he sneak Chase in there?
No, Chase is in there.
Chase, Jamar.
Yes, Mac Jones, Jamar Chase, Rashad White for Lamar Jackson and Jalen Waddle, and it's a 6 minus 4.
Quarter point PPR. Yeah, Lamar and Waddle it is. Mac Jones is such a downgrade at quarterback. I mean, they're not even the same like species anymore. You know what I mean? Like Lamar Jackson is just this beautiful like human, and then there's Mac Jones that just, you know what I mean? Like they're not even scoring in the same like realm of worlds. Mac Jones like has to like 3 of his games to get 1 Lamar game. So I'm taking Lamar and Waddle. I hate giving up Chase, but Lamar and Waddle.
And this is one of those where this is the way to move a guy like Chase in this trade, because you're essentially positioning him as the highlight piece, and you're still giving back that quarterback, and you're giving back an extra piece. But yeah, I'm taking the Lamar and Waddle side all day in a 16-teamer. Good trade, Brian. I assume you got the Lamar and Waddle side based on this. So nice job. Clay, driver's ed's over. You're back behind the wheel.
Yes, I'm up. Let's put this one up right here. It's from Joey. Thank you very much. Oh, nice avatar. Too good looking for this show, though. That's for sure. That our hair used to look like that.
Yeah, right? I feel like that hair is mocking me. I don't appreciate it.
I mean,
I feel like Shane, you need to get with him and take some an avatar shot.
I'm gonna block Joey. That hair is just too much.
Yeah, unacceptable. But we'll answer your question tonight. For these players experiencing season-ending injuries, what's the likelihood of them getting back to 100%, even if it's multiple years out? Proud owner of Brees, Javante, Pitts, Kyler, and Wandale.
So I'll say this: I don't play a doctor on television. I'm not a doctor in real life. I'm not a doctor in any role I play. So I would go see what the doctors actually say about this, like Edwin Porras. What's the other dude's name that's with Jeff Mueller? Is that his name, Scott? I'd go see what they say about return to productivity based off injuries, and then also look at the past, what we've seen in the past with players with similar injuries. But also, Wandell does not belong in the same breath as Brees and Pitts and Kyler, nor does Javonte. But outside of that, I would say I'm about 1,000% confident that Kyler, Pitts, and Brees are going to return to high-end fantasy asset status.
Joey, we have always put out videos when there's an injury like this.
Mm-hmm.
We did a Brees video. We did a Javonte Williams video. We did a Trey Lance video. I have learned over the last couple of years, the first to market on the injured running backs is usually getting the best deals. And I'm always okay being wrong if I trade away a running back with a torn ACL or a torn Achilles. If they come back and they supersede what they were before and they're an outlier, I'm going to be fine being wrong on it. Kyle Pitts, I'm not panicking because they have the injury. There's a value loss, but I'm not going, oh my gosh, I'm concerned they're never going to make it back. They're just totally different positions.
Yeah. And with running backs, especially, like, you get rid of them, but at least you have that pick to play with. You know, if you sold Javonte right after he got injured for a 24 first, at least you had something that you could do with that 24 first, you know?
Well, and I think just one point on that, the timing matters too. Like we saw it with Akers, we saw it with Dobbins, we saw it with Javonte. Their injuries happen right at the beginning of their second year. That really impacts. You got to assume if a guy tears an ACL as a running back, it is going to impact 2 seasons. The first season, he just misses. The second season, it's, I'm not sure if he's fully ready. We're going to limit his workload, all of that kind of stuff. So to have a guy tear his ACL early in his second year, I mean, that really cripples like his prime. By the time he's 100%, sure, he's going to be in his 4th year. Do we even want 4th year running backs that aren't studs? Like, not that much.
Okay, let's hammer through some of these
baby
chats here.
Hammer time.
Okay. Thank you to everyone who gave us the super chat. If we breeze through it too fast, our apologies. Just send us a DM. We're not going to rip through it too fast, but let's try to keep it tight here, boys. Yep. What do you think? All right, James, thank you very much, sir. 12-team Superflex, 6 point per passing touchdown, PPR, start 9. QBs, T-Law, Ross Pickett. Running backs, Najee, Javonte, Akers. Wide receivers, Olave, Ridley, Hollywood, DJ Moore, Mooney. And this is one of 2.
I feel attacked.
We both started smiling when we realized that the second part wasn't in the
Yeah. What I got to do is stop us. I shouldn't start it first. I should send Shane a little private.
Why are super
chats just a heads up on James? No, I know. It's whack. Anyway, James, we'll hide that one for now. Shane's going to start looking for that. And thank you, Shane, for your work always doing that, by the way. I don't think I've ever said thank you to you. You do a lot behind the scenes there of being late finding second parts of super chats.
All while still being on Twitter and Amazon and watching TV and answering questions on the stream.
Yep, it's watching Golden Girls live stream.
And I'm chatting on a dating app right now. Thank you, Tim.
Yep. You're swiping every which way. Okay, Dalton, thank you for the super chat. 12-team Superflex offer on the table right now. I send the 102, 201, 202, 207, and a 24-second for the 101. Do I accept right now? I have 4 firsts next year and no RB room.
11 or less starters, I'm just taking it.
Yes.
Taking my chances that I have the golden boy asset that I can move something different later. Yeah. Unless it's one of these crazy leagues with like 15 starters or 13 starters, then yeah, I'm doing it.
I care about the 201, 202, 207, but I also know that the hit rate on second round picks is much less than first round picks. Like significantly so. I'm going to bet on the generational prospect at the running back position and add him to my roster.
Hit accept, man. No regrets. Smash it. Okay. Thank you, Dalton. Appreciate that. Congrats on Bijan Robinson. Okay. Let's did you find it, Shane?
Yeah, it's the last
Nice.
started one.
Nice. Thank you, sir. Nicely done. Let's go back to James. Thank you again. 12-team Superflex, 6 point per passing touchdown. PPR start 9. QBs are T-Law, Russ, Pickett. Lovely. Those last two there. Najee, Javante, Akers, Olave, Ridley, Hollywood, DJ Moore, and Mooney. And then we go to the second part. Picks are 101, 105, and a late 23 first. Got 224 first and 325s. Herbert's available. How much is too much to pay? I'm thinking the 101, 105, 24 first, 25 first, and Russ.
Yeah, 4 first is a lot, but one of them's a 25, so I don't care. Not that I don't
Start
care.
9. Start 9, 6 point per passing touchdown.
101 and Kenny Pickett. Offer that.
Yeah. I like where your head's at. I like how you're aggressively trying to get
Start with the 101, Kenny Pickett, and a 25 first.
How about a little bit of foreplay? Don't go straight to.
Yeah, I'm not adding that. Listen, I'm trading him Bijan freaking Robinson, Shane. Okay. I'm giving you Kenny Pickett, who apparently is better than Mac Jones, which puts him about QB 26 in Dynasty instead of QB 27. So yeah, Kenny Pickett in the 101 and see what he says. If he comes back and says, "Oh, I need 3 more first," then okay. But yeah, start low. Yeah, you have all the leverage here.
Yeah, we always start low. Look, I talk about all these offers I make. Yes, Clay, I send some just shitball offers. I send them to my guys, my co-hosts that are on the show about Dynasty strategy. I have no hope that it's going to go through, but I'm like, man,
well, they have to respond to it first.
They do have to respond in some way. 8 days later.
Yeah, or you just don't because you hate MFL and you don't want to go anywhere near that app. So shit just sits there. Carson, thank you for the super chat. 10-team start 8 Superflex PPR rebuild. Sold Eckler and a late 24 second for Miles Sanders, a mid 23 first, 25 first. So let's talk about that. There's a little cascade trade here, but what do you think about that? 10-team start 8 Superflex rebuild. Eckler and a 24 second for Miles, a mid 23 first and 25 first.
That's good. And then that should have been the end of the sentence.
Thinking the same thing. Yeah. Stop there. And
that's
and then
you broke up $1 in Miles for 3 quarters after that. So I don't like the second trade, just being honest with you.
And then sold Miles for Mooney, Madison, and an early 24 second.
And this is where
it's
the math matters.
It's a start 8.
Exactly. It's a 10-team start 8.
Yeah.
What player did you acquire that you look at and say would ever make it into my lineup?
All right, and that's not a good trade if it was a start 9. If that was a start 10, that's a bad trade. That's a start 11, it's a bad trade. Miles, start 12, it's a bad trade. Start 13, it's a bad trade. Start 14, I can understand why you might do this. But no, that part is bad. Go back and say you fat fingered it.
Carson, send me a
out of it.
Carson, send me a DM. Let me know what your Venmo is, and I'll send you back $5.99. That $1 for Shane being disrespectful to you.
I wasn't being disrespectful to him. The first part of that trade is smash balls.
So it's a backhanded compliment.
Then. No, it's just that he continued the trade, and we've all done this. We've all done this where we've made a trade and we're feeling good, and we're like, I'm going to keep this rolling, and then you roll a hard 8. That's bad. Right? And,
you did a great job on that project, but that's what it was.
Yeah. The Royal Chief, thank you for the super chat. Update. Got offered Deshaun and Burks for the 103, 104, 108. Added Ritter this week. Do I take the deal or process 104 and 108 into a 24 picks plus a lesser QB and go after Caleb?
I'm crushing that deal.
Dude, and you get Burks too, so I also got a wide receiver.
108 and Burks could almost wipe each other out, and then you're getting Deshaun. I'm still doing that.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah. Royal Chief. Hit it. Accept. Okay. Let's move on to Benjamin Easley. Hey, guys, love the show. We love you, Benjamin. my league where I'm commish is talking about that's what you guys talked about.
Yeah, we already did this one.
Yeah.
I kind of like when you screw up like this because I'm like, oh, good. There's one less question actually.
There's one last question. Yeah,
those small victories.
We still have a bunch here. Let's go to. All right,
easy one. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Sorry,
we sniped me.
We hit it at the same time. Then we'll go to the easy one. Fly Meat Wad. 12 team Superflex, half PPR, start 9, no tight end premium. Have Lamar, Watson, Fields in the 102 or 103, but more wide receivers and RB2s than ones. Okay, wide receiver 2s and running back 2s and ones. Do I try to move the 102 to a QB needy team? Possible to schedule a roster review for after season?
Yeah, and we're going to get into some really sexy stuff with the roster reviews. There might be some like live one-on-one action, little live 2-on-1 action, maybe some 3-on-1 action. We'll see. But keep the radios tuned in. We'll definitely be doing those.
I'll just say this: easy strategy to fly Meat Wad. Your quarterback room is dominant. Do not touch it. And you can shop the 102 and the 103 for literally best player you can get, whether that's a draft pick or a trade or whatever. Sure, go to the QB needy teams and look at them and say, ha, 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 look at the quarterbacks I have. And you're hoping that you draft somebody at 102 that's as good as my Justin Fields or Lamar Jackson or Deshaun Watson. So.
And to answer your question, yes, it is very possible to schedule a roster review for after the season. And like I said before, there was a bunch of people that have hit me up asking for info on the roster reviews that I haven't responded to. My apologies. I work in sales and I hate being late on follow-ups. So it drives me crazy, keeps me up at night. I will get back to you. I've got a timestamp on your email. And yeah, we'll get it done. We're on a little bit of a pause. Shane and Scott smashed through some roster reviews, but we're on and off pause. We're on back order.
We did like 8. We did like 8 over the last 3 days. Stop yelling at us, boss.
I'm not yelling at you, homie. I ain't yelling at you. Anyway, yes, we will be in touch and we'll be doing them all off season because we love them. Shane and Scott are awesome at them. Okay, let's move on to Alexander. My kid's name, one of my boys. 12-team Superflex, start 10. Kyler, Lance, Fields, Ayuk, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Burks, London, Rondale, DJ Moore. Tony, Claypool, Ridley, Pitts, no running backs. 523 firsts, which are mid, and then 3 firsts in 24 and 25. Advice?
I mean, he's got a good structure. He probably lacks the receiver firepower, but I'm actually okay with your quarterback room. I mean, if you really
how about the quarterback room? What do you think?
I mean, he's holding 2 of the 3 most valuable quarterbacks in terms of the guys that are like valued in the top 15 or better, but also injured. So if he wanted to hedge off of either Fields or Lance or Kyler and add a piece, I'm okay doing that. Like
that's what I was thinking. Have a scrub, but who's a starter, just as just in case.
Or de-risk yourself and trade one of them in a deal for Dak or Trevor Lawrence or, you know what I mean? Like pivot and maybe pay a little bit of a tax because he does have 5 firsts and a bunch of wide receiver 3s and 4s. Kadarius Toney, Rondale Moore, Chase Claypool. Like you could throw one of those guys and that's the tax to go from, Trey Lance to Dak Prescott or something like that. But he's got the structure, right? He probably just needs more receiver talent and obviously he needs running backs, but he's got 8 firsts in the next 3 years. So, I mean, he's in pretty decent shape asset-wise. Shane, do you just wait till this roster till 2024 instead of trying to push it now because he's got 2 injured quarterbacks?
No, I actually want to combine those 2 injured, broken quarterbacks and see if I can get me a full
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, can I get a Jalen Hurts? Can I get a Deshaun Watson? Can I get a Joseph Burrow in a piece? Can I get Dakota Skyy Prescott and another piece? Can I combine Rondale Moore and DJ Moore into a more better wide receiver?
I don't know. I see what you're saying, Scott. I may not sweat 2023 unless it's like a big money league or I don't know. I could see this being an amazing 2024 team. I don't know if I want to put it all in for 23.
pick a couple players in 2023, maybe target some of the volatile teams going into 2024 and see if you can end up with 4 of the top 7 picks in 2024 and you have your quarterbacks coming back and you should be able to still survive with Burks, London, Amon-Ra, maybe Ridley, DJ Moore. I think I'd be leaning towards that. Shane's more aggressive though. Shane's going let's go. I'm not punting a year. No way.
Yeah.
I don't have to. No.
Speaking of punting, that word is in here. D Magoon, 10 team Superflex PPR, 1.5 tight end premium, start 11, 102 for Mark Andrews. I punted this year's startup and have the 101, 102, 104 and a playoff first. I'm set at QB and wide receiver, have Brees, and I'm taking Bijan. I also have Pitts.
Yes, but you know what? Can I see if I can get Kelsey?
I mean, I like the idea if he already has Pitts to get Andrews or Kelsey because he's really crowding out the rest of the league at tight end. But I also wonder, do you really want to pay a 102 for these guys right this second? Won't that deal be there in a couple months, don't you think, Clay?
Yeah, I don't see any rush to do that right now.
And not when you have Pitts either, because it's not like you don't have a tight end. So I think I would wait, but I get where Shane's coming from. If you can get the player in hand, do it. But
he's on mute. He's on mute saying, "Don't care, don't care." Is what I read. Yeah, do it.
And in March it'll be, let's see, man, can I get that 102 for Mark Andrews?
Yep.
And I'll add a second.
Okay, here's a Shane 1 of 2 alert. Tanner, we got a 1 of 2 before I pull. Yeah, Tanner Holdorf. Before I pull it up, that's in the hopper. Okay, we've got some others from Josie. Thank you very much for the super chat, man. Much appreciated. He says, "Congrats, guys." Question: how important is it to you to get Bijan if you're finishing a rebuild? I have 102 and the 101 wants 112. Okay. I have the 102 and the 101 wants 112 to move up 1 spot. I have 2. Yeah, easy. Done. Yes.
Do it and worry later. Even if you lose the deal and 102 is nearly as valuable, big deal. You gave up the 112.
So how much we would all do that very easily. What else, in case that's not like an offer in hand, what else would you be okay including to move up from 102 to 101?
I mean, listen, there's a rule in negotiation. When you make an offer, you expect to get an offer back. So I would put that offer out there, and if he declines, then ask for a counter offer. What more can he add? If he adds an extreme amount, then you know where he's at. But I would make him, hey, give me a second. I think you'd be comfortable adding another early second to that deal. Easy.
Yeah, but again, like Scott's kind of pointing out, I don't like going too far down that road. Well, if this doesn't work, then I'm going to offer all this because then I'm negotiating against myself and I'm already setting a limit. I'm raising the limit on what I'm willing to accept. And before I know it in my head, I'm like, well, it's only 4 firsts.
Right.
Yeah. I like to have that in the back of my head. Like what can I add? What do I have in my pocket that I'm willing to add if need be, if it gets to that?
Add another second.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, we will move this one. Thank you very much, Joe. Appreciate that. Okay, Buck. Finish the famous movie quote. If you don't chew Big Red, then blank. Don't disappoint me, fellas. Thanks for the content. Thank you, Buck.
I'm looking for Tanner. Buck, you haven't been here for a few weeks. We missed you, bro.
Finish famous movie
quote. This feels like a Roadhouse quote.
I didn't know it, so I Googled it.
What was it?
I believe he's referring to Talladega Nights.
Oh, is it? Oh, man, I love that movie.
And I haven't seen it in, 15 years.
I watch it every time.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Every time I see it on the guide, I stop.
I've seen it once way back in the day. So I'm sorry I disappointed you, Buck.
No, I won't know it. What is it? All I do is fantasy football.
Don't stick that knife in your leg. Oh, that's so good.
It's Talladega Nights, Shane.
Yeah, but
don't stab yourself, Ricky Bobby.
That's the quote. He said it in the question.
Chew Big Red. Oh, okay.
What's the most?
If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you. That's the quote.
Okay, thank you.
There you go.
Thank you, Buck. Appreciate it. Matt asks, what's the most to ask for Pacheco?
You could ask for it first.
Shout out. This must be the old North Carolina basketball coach here, Matt Doherty.
Matt Doherty.
Doherty?
He was wasn't he he coached in Philadelphia prior to that, I believe.
Okay, no, coached at Notre Dame before he coached at North Carolina. Pacheco's a tough one because it's like I want at least a second for him, if not more, because he's probably hit placeholder status not just for this year but the next couple years. Even if they get other guys, like I think he's the type of player where you go next year, oh, I can get a spot start and then another spot start. Like he can give you a dozen spot starts or more over 2 or 3 more years. So I think he's kind of cemented himself as it's at least a second, but I don't know if I even want to trade him for like a 206, 208, you know?
I will. He's gone. Follow the process, Scott. Don't fail me now, bro.
Okay.
Oh, we got a bunch left here. Real quick, asking for a friend, Chark or Pacheco?
Pacheco.
Okay. All right. I'll get that trade done in a bit. Okay. Hide that. Tanner, did you find the second, Shane?
No.
It was still looking at your avatar. Better long-term asset in the start 8, half PPR, 1 QB, and why? Brees versus Waddle. I'm considering using Brees to acquire Waddle.
Normally I'd say Waddle. We would have smashed this trade the second Waddle or Brees went down, right? We would have traded Brees for any receiver in this range. As time goes by, though, it's a start 8, half PPR. As time goes by, the advantage on Brees becomes even more in this format. So it's not a bad trade, but I don't think it's just like no-brainer. Like there's obviously risk with Brees Hall, but if there was a format where I'd prefer the running back and a half PPR, it would be this. So that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I agree. I'm taking Brees in this format. Oh, Tanner, 2 of 2. Wait, he already has 2 of 2s. How do you have 2 of 2s, Tanner?
Come on,
you're
Tanner.
clearly just messing with me.
Don't mess with Shane. Shane, that's that. Do you have them now, Shane? Are you good to go?
Yeah, I just added them both.
Okay, cool. Thank you. So there's 2 of 2s.
Yes.
Jesus.
I'm even more confused now. But anyway, put them up.
Thank you, Tanner. You ever looking to move away from an elite QB in Superflex? Have Lamar. A second best player is Pat Freiermuth. Rebuilding. Won't be competitive for a couple years at least. I already have 3 firsts and 3 seconds this year, an extra first and second next year. Okay, let's not worry about that.
I think it's 2 and 2, where I think he just clarified the second one, maybe the second time. To answer this question, the answer is typically in a vacuum, no. I'm not trading elite quarterbacks, but in circumstances where you go, I have to break them up to get assets.
Yeah.
But you gotta try the right pivots first. If I'm trading Lamar here, you know where I'm going?
Kyler. You're going to Kyler.
The Kyler manager.
Yeah.
And I'm asking, what can I get on top? If he doesn't want to pay the tax, then I move on. I move down a tier. Can I go to Trevor Lawrence? Can I go to Justin Fields? And if I can get Justin Fields in a second, then the process has been accomplished, and I'm stuck with the same build. I'm not giving up a quarterback that's 3 tiers out to where in 2 years I just don't have one, you know? So I think that you probably want to move them, but also you got to try the right players first. I wouldn't just trade out for – the mistake is I don't have anything, so I'm going to give up Lamar Jackson for the 103 in a future first. And then you're just hunting for 2 quarterbacks there. So,
Yep. Thank you for the super chat, Tanner. Okay, we're going to move that one here. Davey Cakes, what Kyler deal should I send out when trading opens again? Pivot up or pivot down? Also have Mahomes, Hurts, and Watson at QB.
I mean, if you have these 4, I'm honestly just kind of putting it out there to everybody. I'm willing to trade one, and what are you going to offer me? I'm totally fine if the best offer I get is for Jalen Hurts. And it's a haul, and I still have the other 3. So I would just be flexible. I mean, dude, you got 4 of the top 10 quarterbacks in Dynasty. Like,
I'm going to hold on to the QB1 Hurts and the QB2 Mahomes and see what I can get for Watson and Kyler.
Where does Allen come into this? Okay.
QB3-ish.
I mean, it's right there. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that super chat. Sorry if we're ramming through here. Let's see, Benny, 12 teams, start 11, Superflex, PPR, 2 tight ends, 1.5 premium, Hurts, Allen, Etienne, Higgins, AJ Brown, Drake, Burks, and Joku Pitts. 102, 106. and then 109 to 112 in the 202. What's the plan? Take a third QB?
If I'm sitting at 109 and Will Levis is on the board, sure, I'll grab him. I probably need him more than I need a wide receiver. I can't count 6 at that point.
Or Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, Bryce Young at the 106, possibly.
Yeah.
Most likely one of them will be there. I wouldn't sweat it because you have so many picks. Like, you're kind of sitting in all the tiers, possibly. So I wouldn't be like, absolutely, I have to go. I'd just be going best value available, moving around the board. You can also probably move from the 106 to the 105 if you wanted to. So just be flexible. You got a lot of assets.
All right. Thank you. We got Kuski here. No question tonight. Just here to scream into the void about my 2 contender Kyler squads and to tell these suckers to hit that like button. Congrats on 5K subs. Respect the hustle. Rest in peace, Mike Leach. Indeed. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. Awesome super chat there. Awesome super chat. Very fun. And we still have 383 people in here. We're not saying bye yet, but seriously, you guys are the reason why we're still doing this. It's I feel like we got a little community going here. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Heavy Kevy, a member of the community for sure. Here's his best ball league. 12 team Superflex PPR 1.5 tight end premium start 11 best ball. Give Jamar Chase, get Garrett Wilson 109 and 111. Start 11 best ball.
Done.
You go with
best
package,
ball. I'm doing
right?
this.
Yeah.
Best ball. I'm doing this. Yes.
Yeah. Look, I might do this in a regular league with start 11. I probably wouldn't, but I could see a scenario where I could talk myself into this. And best ball though, yeah, I'll do this.
Especially if you had teed up like that, you were going to then move that 109 or 111 for a 24 first. And then it's like give Jamar Chase and you get Wilson 24 first and a 109. Anyway, I'm talking about non-best ball.
Well,
I figured out I suck at best ball, by the way. It's horrible at it.
I'm going to start doing a lot more best ball leagues and a lot more best ball content. Like DD has a lot of great best ball guys, and it's something I'm starting to get into a little bit more. Everything you think you know about roster construction and a lot of what we talk about on here, a lot of it's flipped in best ball. So we'll talk more about it. But yeah, that's a great trade, great value.
Okay, let's move this one. Maybe we should start some sort of business around Dynasty Best Ball. I own dynastybestball.com. Somebody's trying to buy it from me right now. So let's
we gotta talk. We gotta talk.
Yeah, we should talk. Thomas, thank you for the super chat, man. 10 team, half PPR, start 8, 1 QB. Top players are Trevor Lawrence, Deshaun Watson. No RBs other than Pacheco, Pittman, Olave, Judy, Schultz, and Kmet. Have the 101, 102, 111, 112, and 202. Who should I draft?
So the 101 is just always going to be Bijan. Like, I think we should just, like, you never have to ask me that. The 102 is going to be, I don't know, is Jahmyr Gibbs going to the Eagles at 32 overall? Or is Zach Charbonnet going to be drafted in the first round? Probably not. But, I mean, yeah, that's probably going to be another running back. 111 and 112 and 202.
You're trying to tack those on to Pittman and Judy and just try to buy a better player, right? In a start 8, 10 team.
You'd be much better off doing that because more likely than not, you're going to draft yourself another Pittman or Judy at 111 and 112. And you're going to be like, I got 9 of these guys. I never know which one to start.
Yeah. Anything to add there, Scott? Agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's a start 8. So, like, basically 102 through 202 is just shop them. You know, what's the best I can get? How do I consolidate? That should be the goal.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate that, man. And we got one more. We've only got one more here from the Grizz. Is the market too low on Geno? Look at this. We're closing out this live stream talking Geno Smith. What's going on here?
Good job, Clay.
It's pretty wild. Oh, thanks, Shane. Did you find the rest of Tanner's? No, I'm kidding. Is the market too low on Geno? It's hard to see Seattle not giving him a deal going forward, and he's the QB6. It doesn't seem like a fluke. Buy him?
I don't think the market's too low on him because I think he's actually hard to buy. I mean, he gets to the point where you want to go buy him, and the person that has him is going, I'm not selling for the they're not selling for the price of he might not be a starter, because I think a lot of people are on board with he's going to get another contract, whether it's with Seattle or somewhere else. Like, so that automatically puts him in the range where someone's not just selling him for a second because he's Geno Smith. Because there's not a lot of quarterbacks that you can say next year I'm certain are going to have a big market. So are we too low on him in terms of, here's the thing, like you do a startup draft, are you really taking Geno Smith in the third round of the startup at QB 17, 16?
No,
you know what I mean? Like that's where you're like, okay, now we're probably too high on him, because I'd rather wait 5 rounds and draft Jimmy Garoppolo, you know, like it because if I miss, I what I gave up wasn't as big of a miss. So I think that's the difference, is like trade value, he's probably undervalued. Startup value, I wouldn't really want to even build a team around him.
Yeah. If I had a couple of seconds to play around with, I'd throw 2 seconds at Geno Smith, just buy him and, you know, whatever, see what happens.
He's in that Jimmy G plus tier where like, I don't want to go in them next year going, all right, well, this is going to be someone that I'm starting every week. But if he's my QB3 and, you know, he ends up starting a couple more weeks for me, I could live with it.
I mean, Geno or Russ Wilson?
Oh, God. That's where we are, aren't we?
Geno.
I'll take Russ Wilson still. Just because, actually, pass. I'll take C, none of the above.
I'll take Geno.
If you had to pick, like that's a legitimate question, but I do think the market still would prefer Russ Wilson. So if that's the case, then maybe he is undervalued, like the question said. Yeah,
good point. Guys, we are done. If you wouldn't mind just taking a peek, look down, make sure you hit that thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. But no, seriously. And before I forget to, Liam does a ton of our editing. He makes kick-ass reels that we post on Instagram and YouTube. Instagram, YouTube Shorts and TikTok. He's been a huge, valuable member of the team in the background. He does all those fancy graphics that you see, like the ridiculous transitions and stuff. Dude is a stud, so I wanted to give him a shout out. And to all of you guys, you know, we got 5,000 subscribers. We got more and more coming in. Awesome community. It means a lot, man. I love this. It only took me 38 years to find out what I want to do, right?
Another Tuesday night live stream where everyone just crushed. I mean, I literally feel bad because we're sitting in here. I mean, Shane and I could literally talk Dynasty for 24 hours in a row. I don't want to say that too loud because then we'll be pushing for a 24-hour live stream. But no, Tuesday nights are awesome. We're getting to the real like money making time of the season, and I'm glad that you shouted out Liam too, because anyone's noticed the videos from the beginning of when we started compared to now, like it's legit. And that's not a slight on Clay. Like he did the right thing by finding an expert that does this for a living to do it. So Clay's a good delegator. That's why we're where we are. So thank you, Clay, as well.
Oh, thank you, Scott. Thank you, Shane. All right, we are done. Take it easy, guys. We'll see you soon. We'll figure out when the next stream is going to be and next show, all that fun stuff. But
peace.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.